Hello students, there are four units in your syllabus. First of all, R. K. Narayan's famous novel, The Guide, then Cry the Peacock, which is written by Anita Desai, Mahabharata, and then the four S's. As you know that we have read Mahabharata and The Guide. The Guide, which is written by R. K. Narayan, who was one of the trio novelists in dependent India. First of all, R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, and Raja Rao. These are the three famous novelists before Indian independence. Today we are going to read Anita Desai and his famous novel Cry the Peacock. The Guide is a philosophical novel, but we can say the Cry the Peacock is a psychological novel. There are two major protagonists. First is Maya, who was a who is a psychological patient, and then Gautam, the husband of Maya. Anita Desai is a very famous novelist in India at modern time, and he was born in 24 June 1937, Mussoorie, British India. Occupation, he was a writer and professor. Nationality, as you know, that he is Indian. University of Delhi is their study. Period is 1963 to present time. Genre, fiction writer. And children, Kiran Desai, who is also a well-known personality in written literature. Anita Mazumdar Desai was born in 24 June 1937 and is an Indian novelist and the Emerita John E. Burchen Professor of Humanities at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. As a writer, she had shortlisted for the Booker Prize 3 times. She received a Sahitya Academy Award in 1978 for her novel Fire on the Mountain from the Sahitya Academy, India's National Academy of Letters, and she won the British Gorgian Prize for The Village by the Sea. These are the prize and awards which was won by the writer. A psychological study of Cry the Peacock. In her first novel, Cry the Peacock, which appeared in 1963, Anita Desai portrays the psychic tumult of a young and sensitive married girl, Maya, who is haunted by a childhood prophecy of a fatal disaster. She is the daughter of a rich advocate in Lucknow, and being alone in the family, her mother being dead and brother having gone to America to carve his own independent destiny. She gets the most of her father's affection and attention, and in her moment of affection, exclaimed to herself, no one else love me as my father does. These are the words of Maya. No one else loves me as my father does. The excessive love Maya gets from her father makes her have a lopsided view of life. She feels the world to be a toy made especially for her, painted in the favorite colors and set moving around according to her tunes. So this is the thinking way of Maya because she was looked after by her father only, and his father loved her very much because her brother has gone to America and his wife has been died. So only Maya is on the position of her father. So her father gave him lot of love. So the father of Maya is the only word of Maya. No one, no friend, no intimacy, no acquaintance, only her father. Having lived a carefree life under the indulgent attention of her loving father, Maya desires to have similar attention from her husband Gautam, a father surrogate. She wants that her husband should be the same personality of her father. She wants the same qualities in the husband. When Gautam, a busy, prosperous lawyer, too much engrossed in his own vocational affairs, fails to meet her demands, she couldn't find the same real hero in him as she imagined before the marriage. She feels neglected and miserable. Seeing her morbidity, her husband warns her of her turning neurotic and blames her father for spoiling her. He said that her father spoiled her in the childhood, so she behaved like that. Gautam was a very busy and prosperous person, and so he couldn't give many much time to Maya. So Maya feel lonely to herself and feel that the husband, the Gautam, is not the perfect person for her in his life and become a psychological patient. Although the reason for Maya's neurosis is, however, not her father fixation, though it adds the hasten her tragedy, but persistent obeisance of the prediction by the albino astrologer of death, either for her or her husband. This is the prediction which was given somebody by somebody, and was she was told that after a fixed time she or her husband must die, and she became very careless, careful for the life of her husband and the life of herself. Within 4 years of their marriage, albino astrologer of death either for her or her husband within 4 years of their marriage. This is the prediction. The terrifying words of the prediction, like the drum beats of the mad demon of Kathakali ballads. It is a great imaginary which is used by the writer. Kathakali ballads. It is similarly, or can be said, Kathakali is just like to the prediction of death. Ring in her ears and unnerve her. She knows that she is haunted by a black and evil shadow. Her fate and the time has come. And 4 years it was now to be either Gautam or she. Means she is going to die, or her husband is going to die, because here the 4 years are spent by them together. And the time has come, what the prediction said, that if may she or may her husband must be die. The loving attention of her father makes Maya oblivious of the deadly shadows. But as her husband Gautam fails to satisfy her intense longing for love and life, she is left to the solitude and silence of the house which prey upon her. The environment of the house, which is very silent, it is always haunted Maya, or it always want to prey upon her. She muses over her husband's lack of love for her, and once, in a fit of intense despair and agony, tells him straight to his face, "Oh, you know nothing of me and of how can I love, how I want to love, how it is important to me, but you have never loved and you don't love me." These are the words which are told by her to her husband. She said that you do not care me, you don't know how the love should be made, and you don't know what is the importance of the wife, and Gautam has never loved her, and he don't know how to do the love. These are the words which are told straightly to Gautam by Maya. So this shows the mental state of Maya. Maya is a psychological patient and don't know how to behave with husband, how to behave with father-in-law and mother-in-law and sister-in-law. She is a sick people. Temperamentally, there is no compatibility between Maya and Gautam. Maya has romantic love for the beautiful and the colorful and the sensuous. Gautam is not romantic, has no use for flowers. These are the difference between these two characters. As we have read in the guide, there are two characters, Rosie and Marco. Marco is the husband of Rosie, but he has no taste of flower, while Rosie has a great sense of arts and flowers and nature. These are the dissimilarities between these two characters. And here we can see Maya and Gautam are the two poles of hobbies. Maya is a creature of instinct or a wayward and high strung child. As symbolized by her name, she stands for the word of sensation. Maya is the unreal word. As we can say, her name symbolized by her name, she stands for the word of sensation. Sensation word, the surprising, the excitement, the full of excitement life, all these words are used for the Maya. So we can say these are the two poles of the hobbies. They don't match each other according to their hobbies, according to their test. Gautam's name, on the other hand, symbolizes asceticism, detachment from life. As we know, Gautam Buddha, which shows detachment from the worldly life at the age of 29, and Gautam is the same character. He is busy in his earning money and reading books, and he is realistic and rational, while Maya is imaginative. This is the difference between these two protagonists or these two characters. He has philosophical detachment toward life as preached in the Bhagavad Gita. He always gave and always preached to Maya about the unpermanency of the life according to Bhagavad Gita. Such, ir, such irreconcilability or reconcilability, different temperaments are bound to have material disharmony. So we can say Anita Desai is Anita Desai want to tell us about the life, about the life according to Gautam. And Maya and the character of Maya and Gautam are very different from each other. They are based, one is based in imagination and is based in the actual time, or can be said the actuality. Had Gautam shown an understanding towards and been attentive to Maya, he would have saved her from the haunting fears of shadows and dumps and shadows. The gap of communication between them leave her lonely to brood over the morbid thoughts of the albino astrologer's prophecy. When her husband go to his office, she began to think about the albino astrologer's prophecy, and always she finds alone herself. Her attempt to divert herself by visit to her friend Leila and Pom or Mrs. Lal's party or the restaurant and the cabaret prove powerless to dispel the creeping terror. She is terrified, and this is the powerless efforts of her. The visit of Gautam's mother and sister Neela bring a brief respite to her, and she enjoy her busy life in their company. She got a companion as Gautam's sister and Gautam's mother. But once they are gone, when they are gone, she finds the house empty and herself alone with her horrors and nightmares. She became more and more psychological patient because she feel alone after the departure of Neela and her Gautam's mother and his sister-in-law Neela. These two characters gave him a company, but when they have gone, the situation became russer and russer. Maya is so much possessed by the vision of albino astrologer, and that she recalls his talk about the myth surrounding the peacock's cry. And he finds similarity between the cry of peacock and the cry of herself, the cry of her heart. Listening to the cries of peacock in the rainy season, she realized that she should never sleep in peace. She is caught in the net of inescapable being intensely in love with life. She turned hysteric over the creeping fear of death. Am I gone insane or am I gone mad? Father, brother, husband, who is my savior? I am in a need of one. I am dying. I am not in love with living. I am in love and I am dying. God, let me sleep, forget, rest. But no, I will never sleep again. There is no rest anymore, only death and waiting. Only death and waiting. This shows the complete nervousness of Maya. Maya suffers from headaches and experiences rages of rebellion and terror. As she moves towards insanity, she sees the visions of rats, snakes, lizards, aguines creeping over her, slipping their club-like tongues in and out. Her dark house appears to her like her tomb, and she contemplates in it over the horror of all that is to come. Then suddenly, during her interval of sanity, an idea hopefully dawns in her mind that since the albino had predicted death to either of them, it may be Gautam or not she, whose life is threatened. She thus transfers her death wish to Gautam and thinks that as he is detached and different to life, it will not matter for him if he missed life or not. In her perversity, she is even haunted by the word murder. She thought might be her husband murdered her. Gautam remains so much lost in his work that Maya finds him even oblivious of the dust storm that has raged earlier in the afternoon. When she asked him to accompany her to the roof of the house to enjoy cool air, he accompanies her, lost in his own thoughts. Passing out of the room, Maya catches sight of bronze Shiva dancing and pray to the Lord of Dance to protest them. Climbing the stairs, she finds her cat suddenly speeding past them in the state of great alarm. This is the bad omens, as we have known in the India everywhere. The bad omens of the cats are discussed and in the practice. They walk toward the terrace and Maya looking enraptured at the pale hush head glow of the rising moon. As Gautam moves in front of her, hiding the moon from her view, sees a fit of frenzy pushes him over the parapet to pass through an immensity of air, down to the very bottom. It remained in the end for Gautam's mother and sister to take away completely insane Maya from the scene of tragedy of the house of her father. Now we are going to discuss about four essays which are given in your syllabus. First of all, the essay is Joy of Freedom. It is composed by V.S. Srinivas Sastry. This essay says us about the necessities. V.S. Srinivas Sastry, who was born in 1869 and died in 1946, it is a very similar period just as Mahatma Gandhi, was a distinguished scholar and writer, revered even by the British who then ruled in India. The title Right Honourable bestowed upon him by the British government is proof enough of his greatness. In this speech, made in London when India was still under the British, he argues logically and persuasively freedom. When he was in London in 1921 to attend an imperial conference, he was made a member of the British Privy Council and accorded the freedom of the city of London. While accepting the honor, Sastry made his famous Guildhall speech. His speech was received with a long ovation and he was praised as the empire's silver-tongued orator and as an artist in word. He was very famous in giving the statements and so he said the Guildhall speech and his speech was received with a long ovation, with a long attention and he was praised as the empire of silver-tongued orator. He was a very famous orator and artist in word. He was known as the artist of word. He used the words with in a magical rhyme scheme and gives a great speech which has a great effect on the listener. Now, the gist of this essay. Sastri points out that the British value freedom and in their country do not have distinction of any kind. He argues that it is in keeping with this spirit to offer freedom to India. He recalls the parable of the miser whose wealth is of no use and to anyone and cautions that if the British do not give freedom to their colonies, then they would be behaving in a similar manner. It should rather be said that Britain fitted them for the task of empire and made them partners in the service of humanity. So, this is the gist of this essay. Now, we should talk about the second essay, How to Escape from Intellectual Rubbish, Bertrand Russell. Russell want to told us about the intellectual rubbish, the intellectual books and the bad books, which can be called the rubbish part of the book. Bertrand Russell, who was born in 1872 and was died in 1970, was born in Trelech, Monmouthshire, England. He studied at Trinity College, Cambridge. After being educated at home, he was a lecturer at London, John Hopkins, Baryan Mawar and Cambridge universities. In 1908, he was a made fellow of a Royal Society. He protested against the World War and was imprisoned for being a conscientious objector. He traveled in Russia, China, Japan, and the USA. He started a school with himself as headmaster and his wife Dora as headmistress. In 1950, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, and it is a great achievement for every writer in all over the world. Nobel Prize, which was started in 1901, and the 13th Nobel Prize was given to R.N. Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore, and this award was given for his great composition of lyrics, Gitanjali. And Gitanjali is very famous work of R.N. Tagore, so he was given Nobel Prize in 1913. As we know, in 1950 he was awarded with the Nobel Prize for Literature, and it is given in many fields as in literature, peace, chemistry, psychology, chemistry, biology, and other experimental subjects. The gist of this essay. Russell established in this essay the folly is not unusual. Either in time or space, all the civilization have had a number of superstitions which led to cruelty and persecution. He gives a few examples of what is to be avoided and what can be done to remain happy. It should be known by everyone that what is to be avoided and what can be done to remain happy. Every person should know about it, that which books should be avoided and which should be used to get happiness, to get the new ideas, to get a revolutionary ideas. Now we are going to discuss about the third essay in your syllabus, and it is the fourth unit, From Religion to Vocation. Limitation of carving. Acharya Mahapragya. Acharya Mahapragya is a well-known saint in India, and he belonged to the Jain civilization, the Jain religion. He believes in the non-violence and truth. Acharya Mahapragya was the 10th Acharya or supreme head of the Svetambar Terapanth sect of Jainism. He ran a project called Ahimsa Yatra to promote Ahimsa, an Indian concept of non-violence. He was born in 14 June 1920, Jhunjhunu, and died in 9 May 2010, Sardar Shahar. Awards, Indira Gandhi Award for National Integration. And he was succeeded by Acharya Mahashraman. Acharya Mahapragya combines spiritualism with pragmatism in his approach to life. He is widely read and has a deep insight into the struggles and triumphs of mankind. His concerns for the underprivileged is reflected in the educational institutions and charitable organization he has founded as JVBI and etc. His philosophy is based on Indian religion and culture, but he also has a world view which is not limited by narrow boundaries of race or caste. He dreamed a universal religion. He is an inspiration to young and old alike and serves as a guide in the journey of life. The gist of this essay. Acharya Mahapragya points out that man must necessarily have desire or needs, but cautions that these should be limited. Unlimited needs or unlimited desires can lead to disappointment and despondency. Modern theories and economies emphasize the value of endless needs, which lead to growth in the economy. This is valid to a certain degree, but when religion stresses the importance of limiting wants, it is justified in doing so because it points out the path that leads men to happiness. He concludes that the theories of both the camps are right to a certain extent and that people must learn to control their desire and tread the path of happiness. Now, this is the last essay in your syllabus, An Ideal Before the Youth. And it is composed by S. Radhakrishnan, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was known as the first Vice President of India and the second President of Indian politics after independence. S. Radhakrishnan, by profession, he was a teacher and a statesman. And as we know that he was a teacher and the first one of three Bharat Ratna, first Bharat Ratna, and S. Radhakrishnan was given. So his birthday, 5 September, is celebrated as the Teachers' Day in India. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was an Indian philosopher and statesman and who was the first Vice President of India and the second President of India from 1962 to 1967. He was born in 5th September 1888, Tirutni, and died 17 April 1975, Chennai. Previous office, President of India 1962 to 1967. Children, Sarvapalli Gopal Award, Bharat Ratna. Templeton Prize, Peace Prize of the German Book Trade and Order of Merit. All these award was given to him. His philosophy was grounded in Advait Vedanta. Reinterpreting this tradition for a contemporary understanding, he defended Hinduism against uninformed Western criticism. Contributing to the formation of contemporary Hindu identity, he was being influential in shaping the understanding of Hinduism in both India and the West, and earned a reputation as a brigade builder between India, bridge builder between India and the West. Thanks. Enough for today. As you know that we have complete all the 4 units of your syllabus. First of all, we have completed the guide, which is a very famous novel by R.K. Narayan. Then we complete the Mahabharata. And today we have completed Cry the Peacock, a very famous play written by Anita Desai. And then the 4 essays which was given in your syllabus. Thanks. Best of luck.